Welcome back to my weekly Everyone Can Win video newsletter. In 5 minutes or less, we are going to be discussing tips and tricks on all things leadership, growth, and entrepreneurship. And today we're going to be talking and focusing specifically on one of the areas of leadership, which is focus. There is a lot that is fighting for our attention, right? So, one of the hardest things to do as a leader is to know what's most important and to stay on track. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. First thing I want you to ask yourself is focused around distractions. What is taking you away from the core purpose of the team that you're leading? There are so many things, but just to show a few, what emails are you triaging or responding to that you don't need to or that aren't important the current time? What about the meetings that you're in? How much busy work is keeping you away from engaging and working with your team? Another thing that we know that everyone does is the mindless cell phone scrolling. The scrolling on your cell phone and the constant distraction and notifications could be keeping you away from what is most important. And then finally, it's controlling everything. As a leader, we understand that we have the responsibility to perform and to make sure our team is performing. But the way for you to win is to not control everything. If you try to control everything, you're never going to have enough time in the day to focus on the things that are most important. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to consider what distractions are hurting you every single day. The second concept that I want you to consider is delegation. So we just talked about distractions, but delegation is so important. What is on your plate that could be better suited for another team member, another colleague, or could you outsource? Delegation is something that the leaders that are highly effective, you know, those leaders I'm talking about, the ones that seem that they have more than 24 hours in a day, I guarantee you they are delegating and they're delegating with efficiency. So when you're considering delegation, there's a few things that I want you to go through. Number one, you need to work and surround yourself with a capable team. You may be listening to this and say, Jason, I'm a small business owner. I'm a solopreneur. I don't have a team. That's okay. You can outsource. You can use resources to delegate that maybe isn't on your payroll or isn't directly on your team, but you can find those people. You also need to hire for your weaknesses. You don't want to surround yourself with a bunch of spitting images of you. We all have gifts. We all have things we're really good at, but we also have things that we struggle with. Hire around your weaknesses. Find very intelligent, very capable people that will be able to do some of the things that you maybe do average or don't do well, that they can do much more effectively and efficiently. You also need to ensure that your role and responsibilities and the role and responsibilities of others on your team is clearly defined. The reason this is important is because this increases the speed at which you can delegate. If roles and responsibilities are laid out properly and effectively, delegation becomes a breeze because as it comes in through your plate, you are able to push it off to the team member that is most appropriate for that. Another thing, and maybe a lot of you are going to hear this, you're going to feel very seen. You should only be in meetings that you feel are important and that you can be effective in. You don't need to oversee everybody. You need to relinquish that control and that power. And you need to be able to delegate, not just in responsibility, but in the trust that the people in that meeting are going to be able to do what you want them to do. And finally, it comes down to trust. When you delegate, you don't want to delegate and then consistently check in and micromanage and make sure they're doing what you expect. You need to trust your people to do what you've delegated them to do. Nobody wants Big Brother looking over their shoulder. So as we're kind of recapping here, what is distracting you during the day and what can you delegate? If you go through this checklist, you will be a much more effective leader. And I guarantee you, you're likely going to find more time in your day to be more effective and to be more strategic. If you like this episode, if you've been enjoying this video newsletter, I'd be really grateful if you shared it with a friend and make sure you subscribe to this newsletter and subscribe on the YouTube channel so you never miss an episode of this video newsletter. Thanks for joining. Until next time, I'm out. Much love.